What's up, everyone? It's Lights Out here, and I'm back, and I'm bringing you a simulation of UFC 150's main event between the champion Ben Henderson and Frankie Edgar in the Pepsi Center in Denver, Colorado. Now, this is a rematch of their previous bout in which Benson Henderson took the title from Frankie Edgar by decision, of course. Very close decision. Fans saw it both ways, and you'll still hear people arguing about it back and forth. This is actually Frankie Edgar's third title match rematch. BJ Penn, Gray Maynard, and now Benson Henderson. And I think a lot of it has to do with the style that he chooses to fight with. A lot of in and out movements, leg kicks to slow down his opponent, gets that takedown. But he doesn't really finish guys. You see, he finished Gray Maynard, of course, but BJ Penn, close fight both times. Gray Maynard, he had a draw with Gray Maynard. And really, you can argue that he could have lost any of those fights, other than, of course, the one he finished. Well, I'm looking here, Benson with the takedown, and he's just so much stronger than Frankie Edgar, so much bigger. And this is what Dana White's been talking about, that maybe Frankie should move down, because he's always at a size disadvantage every fight here, which, credit to Frankie, I mean, he's a tough dude, but, I mean, the odds start to stack against you, and really, I mean, one way down, Jose Aldo, that'd be a perfect matchup. A lot of people would like to see that, especially Jose's just been walking through the competition. The only real tough fight he had, Mark Hominick, gave him everything he could handle. But you see he's already rocked, got the armbar in. But Frankie, I don't believe Frankie's been submitted yet. And actually, he gets the Kimura on Benson. And if you've seen the Don Cerrone fight with Benson, he could be in the toughest spot. Look, the bar is full, and he still managed to get out. He's been in so many tough spots as far as submissions to where you think, oh, it's over, and he'll just somehow get out of it. Yeah, Frankie's got to use his head movement, be smart, fight smart, stay out of trouble. As far as Benson goes, I mean, he's got good enough striking, and he knows Frankie doesn't have that kind of one-shot power. He knows that he can walk in on Frankie and go for these kind of takedowns. And, well, you don't want to end up on the bottom. Frankie does have good takedown defense. Definitely a good wrestling game if he can, somehow get rid of the strength advantage and a good reversal right there. But, yeah, I don't believe this fight's going to take place a lot on the ground just because I don't think Frankie can control him. So even if he gets that single leg, there's not much he can do with him on the ground as far as ground and pound goes. Benson's very crafty from the bottom, very strong. So he's going to need to really stay in and out. Really, he's going to have to do everything. Everything he did in the last fight was good, but it wasn't quite good enough. If he can just step up his game a little bit, which is, of course, saying a lot still, because he comes in every fight, excellent condition. But he's going to have to do a little bit better, execute. This is a second chance at Benson, so maybe he's going to bring something that we didn't see last time. Really, and you see Benson throws a lot of kicks too. So what he needs to do, he needs to catch his kicks. And this time, he did it a bunch of times. He get kicked in the body and get hit. And this time, he really needs to capitalize on those opportunities. And when he has them on the ground like this, maybe after he sweeps him after a kick, he really needs to take advantage. Because he can't, going to decision every time, of course, you're not going to get all of them, and which is what we saw last time. He didn't get the last one. A lot of people were upset at the end of round 2. And he's really going to need to do something to separate himself because it is tough to get every decision. I know he doesn't have the power at this weight to really take care of it. But a guy like Benson who's fast, stronger, he's really going to have to show something to the judges, especially after what happened last fight. I'm saying that's what he can't afford. He cannot afford Benson to get on his back like this. And a nice reversal. Yeah, propensity for this game for reversals is a little bit too high. But this is what I don't expect to happen, for Frankie to just be able to control Benson, be able to sit on him. And while we're at it, the lightweight division, not just these two guys, we also have Donald Cerrone and Melvin Guillard tonight. And that's going to be a huge fight. I know Cerrone's a little bit upset that he's not fighting Anthony Pettis, but he always puts on a good show. Gallard, for the most part, if he shows up, you never know what side of Gallard you're going to get, whether it's the one that comes with the knockout or the one that's getting tapped out by Joe Lozon. But he'll bring it. Cerrone will bring it. Hopefully we'll get some fireworks there. I don't believe it's a title contention match just yet because Nate Diaz is right there. I think Pettis is right there. I think one of those two guys will get a shot first. More than likely Nate Diaz. And as far as how Nate Diaz matches up to these guys, Frankie Edgar, that would be interesting because we've already seen someone, when they employ a hit and run concept against a Diaz, it was Nick Diaz versus Carlos Condit. We saw a hit and run Carlos Condit, and Nick Diaz didn't adjust. He just kept waiting in, get hit a few times, and Condit would get out. People didn't like it. They said it was boring. They said it wasn't fighting, but it's what happened. But anyways, as it relates to this, Nate would have to figure out Frankie Edgar's game as he gets in and out. And then, if Nate were to fight Benson, Benson's a power wrestler, and he's not going to get submitted. I know Nate's got some tremendous submissions, but until I see Benson not able to get out of a submission, I can't really say he's going to get submitted by somebody. And he does have good enough boxing to not get rocked by Nate Diaz, not get dominated in the striking, and he's going to be smart enough not to get bullheaded and stand there with him like Cerrone did, which Cerrone may have been better than Nate Diaz, but once again, it's a fight of styles, it's a fight of game plans. You put in the wrong game plan or you lose your game plan, you could be in a world of trouble. And of course, he'd have to be able to defend takedowns like that, a double leg takedown. And, the Diaz brothers haven't been known for having the greatest takedown defenses. I mean, they're not bad. They're not bad on the ground at all, of course. But, I mean, not the greatest. You can see right here, we're into the fourth round. Fourth and fifth round for these two guys is not a problem at all. We've seen Benson in the WEC and in the last fight. He's got excellent cardio. He's not going to tire out. We're not going to see, hands on the knees, huffing and puffing. And the same thing with Frankie Edgar. You could really see at the end of the BJ fight where, I mean, he was still running around the ring and, BJ was complaining, oh, he's just trying to celebrate and steal the win that way. But, I mean, when you have a lot of cardio left, you want to show that to the judges that, hey, I've still got a lot left. I haven't lost. If this fight kept going, I could win. And you just want to show them that you're in good shape. I mean, it probably won't influence anything, but, I mean, it is something to have a lot of cardio left, because you see guys come in and they're just completely out of it, and nobody wants to see that. The fans don't want to see it. Dana definitely doesn't want to see that, and what Dana sees is very important because he has a big hand as far as who gets title shots. You've seen John Fitch, he went on a huge winning streak and didn't even get a title shot because it's so boring. So, I mean, putting on a good show does matter, as well as winning fights, of course, the most important thing, winning. You see, going into the fifth round, this is where I think if you're Frankie, you really have to go for it. And he's already got, you can see Benson's got a lot of swelling on his eyes, so Benson's been doing good in this fight. But really, he cannot afford, I don't believe he can afford to lose the fourth and fifth rounds, just because I think it's going to be close again. And he needs to close the fight very well. And usually he does do a good job of closing fights. He closed the Gray Maynard fight and finished it. And closed both the BJ fights. Of course, BJ not the greatest of cardio, never comes in the greatest of shape. Exactly what I'm talking about. But right here, where he's got him on the ground, and he doesn't necessarily have to ground and pound him. Just stay active. Make sure he doesn't get reversed. And there's a reversal, of course. Just make sure that Benson doesn't get a lot of big shots on him in the later rounds. He doesn't take him down and get him in that half guard. And you can just see Benson at this point, another reversal. They're not really going for submissions because I believe they respect each other's game. And you're going to see in the real fight, you're not going to see a lot of submission attempts because you're not going to get either of them really. Whether it's the wrestling of Benson, his flexibility to escape submissions, and then Frankie just stays out of it. He doesn't get into dangerous positions really. He's really good at staying where he's safe, where where he's not going to get submitted or knocked out. He was in a world of trouble against Gray Maynard, but he's a tough guy. See, just like that, this is exactly what he has to do. Catch the kick, sweep him, and get into position. Don't get reversed, of course. But what you saw, catch the kick, capitalize. If he can do that, because Benson's going to throw his kicks. He's a versatile striker. He's going to throw his kicks, and you're going to see it. Let me get some picks real quick, as we can see the decision. I got Cerrone beating Melvin Gillard by knockout second round, and I got Benson Henderson by decision again. And see, it's going to be 48-47 in the favor of Edgar in our simulation, in which he would become the champion. Would they do another rematch? It's a possibility, especially if it was this close. I don't know if we want to see, of course, another rematch, but I mean, how fair would that be to Benson? Anyways, everyone come see the fight tonight. It's bound to be a good one.